I feel like when you lose like hope of something you really want to do, so with a different crowd, you want to experiment, and it's that constant rut, just drinking, doing things I didn't really like doing.
You were averaging around 7, 8, 9K, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like this switch happened, and now you're at 27.5 next PB month, which is a huge increase.
Growing up probably in like a rented house, money was always tight, and that is probably a motivation for all the sort of hours of work which you probably do yourself. He's told me he was suicidal.
You're doing the basics and you've mastered the basics. You were doing perfect, and hence why you were able to get to that, level of success just by doing the basics is because you mastered it.
You say jump, I'm saying how high.
The first time I spoke to you, you seemed almost hesitant, as if you could achieve that goal. You were speaking a lot about like if instead of when.
Yeah, you could be the best coach in the world, but if you don't know how to sell your service, you're not going to do well. I'm willing to invest all my time to keep scaling my business. So it will be literally from waking up at probably 7, half 7, spending the whole morning just doing my check-ins. This is when people will get comfortable. This is when I stopped.
If you're a fitness coach wanting to scale and make as much money as possible, and you're just starting out, but you're passionate about it, but you're just not quite getting the payday. Today I have the honor of joining one of our superstar clients, Scott, who has been in Troy's inner circle now for the past
month and a half.
2
months, let's say.
Early days still.
Yeah, very
early days still.
Doing well.
Thank you for having us on, or thank you for having you on.
Thank you, mate. My first podcast, so bear with me.
I'm a bit of a newcomer to this as well, so it might be a bit croaky. You might hear some words mispronounced, but look, this is just
Irish as well.
And I'm Irish, yeah, so you probably won't even understand what the fuck I'm saying. But yeah, just so you know, you can curse, you can do whatever the fuck you'd like. There's no censorship to this. I'm keen to understand because, of course, like today was the first day meeting you actually in person. I only spoke to you for the first time a month and a half ago, but so much has changed in that time. I'm curious to know, let's start from the start. Who's Scott? Tell us a bit more about you. I know the basics, but nobody knows you.
Well, currently 25 years old. I'm from Cornwall. And how far back should we go?
Tell us a bit more about how you got into fitness, because now you're just like this big fitness celebrity almost. Like you've got a lot of following, and you're quite famous. So
I've always played sport all throughout school, so I've been very sort of active. And then at 16, I was out of school. So the dream of being a football player stopped. And I reckon I had a bit of a rough phase from 16 to 18, just alcohol, drug abuse, not abuse, but like just going down that wrong path. And then got to 18, and I think I just looked in the mirror. I thought, mate, I'm a mess. Yeah. And I remember my granddad used to always say to me, "Don't worry, you'll grow into your body." I thought, that ain't happening, is it? So that was kind of my reason for wanting to start the gym, just being at a low point, and then from then I just locked in.
Interesting. When you talk about like low points, alcohol, that you said that went on for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
What was that kind of like for you, and what was the turning point where you kind of looked in the mirror? What did you see that you said that something needs to change?
Well, it was just, I was the complete opposite before. The whole way through school, I'd be like, "Nah, don't drink." But I feel like when you lose like hope of something you really want to do, so with a different crowd, you want to experiment, and it's that constant rut, just drinking, doing things I didn't really like doing, and I just didn't really like who I saw in the mirror, essentially.
Interesting. And I suppose we'll go back to the point of 18 and when that switch was made, but funny that you mentioned like environment, testing new things and stuff like that. And now you're living in Dubai.
Yeah.
So that's a big switch up. How has that influenced, I suppose, your actions and I suppose how you live your day-to-day life?
I think it's been the biggest change I've made. I was so like on the fence about moving to Dubai because I thought it's just my hometown. I don't actually hate it. A lot of people move away because they're just done with where they are. But I think it's just the environment's so important. If you want to grow and be the best version of yourself, you need to be around people who have done it, who are doing better than you. Yeah. It's the same reason people get me to be their coach, because I've walked the walk. I've got other people to where they want to be. So then you just got to put your trust in someone else. Be around that person, because if you're around people who want average, people who are just going to settle, you will settle in life. But if you're around people that want to grow, who are doing a lot better than you, which obviously people in your mentorship are, like I'm never going to wake up thinking I'm fucking top dog. I'm like, had a PB month, right? That's not good enough. I need to do more. Yeah. And that's what I think that's good. It's actually quite healthy. I actually thought it's quite toxic before I moved there. I didn't want to be in Dubai thinking, God, it's just money, or like work. But when you're actually passionate about your job, you enjoy working.
Yeah. That's the biggest misconception about Dubai, right? Before you move out here, everyone's like so materialistic. Everybody cares about money, but I suppose it's not necessarily about the money. It's money is a measure of success, of course, right? But when it comes to success, right, there's multiple different things that need to be, driven and actually to enjoy the success, right? So when you achieve an extra income goal, whether it's, living in a nicer apartment or whether it's being able to treat the loved ones around you, I think that's the biggest thing here, because everybody drives maybe like a nice car. Yeah. Everybody lives in a nice apartment, and they just have a better quality of life. Yeah. But it makes them work harder to remain, to keep these things, So I think that's the biggest thing for me when I was in Ireland. No one would really know my town, but like Wicklow, right? Very, very small mindset, and it's easy to be the top dog. Right, so I'm sure you were probably at that phase before you moved to Dubai. Were you top G in the UK?
I still like to think I'm top G now, but nah, to be fair, I definitely did, and it actually really affected my business.
Yeah,
because I had 2 years of just people telling me how well I'm doing. Because if you're making above, I don't want to bring it to finance, but if you're making above like just the average wage, you're doing really well. You are top dog. But for me and my job, for what I want to do is help people. Like, I'm not helping many people just doing average.
But you need to push for further, right?
Yeah, I was just too comfortable. Just 2 years of just average. And before I started this, I never wanted average. I was always looking higher and higher. But you get in that cycle just thinking it's all good.
Because you went pretty much 0 to 100 very fast. I think Dubai was maybe the biggest switch, because that's how initially you and I met, through obviously mutual connections. But Dubai, I feel like, kind of brought it all together. You went from, just to give people some background, and I know obviously financials isn't the biggest focus here, but in terms of measure of success, you went from averaging, am I correct? I know you had a previous PB month, but you were averaging around 7, 8, 9K, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like this switch happened, and now you're at 27.5 next PB month, which is a huge increase. What do you feel like, I suppose, was the biggest game changer for that?
Well, I'll take it back to the sort of last point actually about being sort of average, because before I made the transition from working a 9 to 5 to being an online coach. So I had about a year being online, doing my 9 to 5, doing my online coaching in the evening. And then because I started making more money from coaching, I was happy with the business. That led me to be a bit kind of just stuck. So that's on that sort of point there. In terms of the biggest difference, because I probably was averaging about sort of 10K a month, apart from that 115.
Yeah.
I think it's against one support. Because as I told you before, I thought I knew best. I thought, how can I not know something else? Yeah. I just thought maybe I'm only supposed to do this well. But I think having someone in your sort of corner, how people get me to be their coach, that's going to help you. And just learning off someone who's doing better than you.
Yeah.
Whether that's all aspects, really. It's hard to pinpoint one. And that's one thing I've actually been struggling to do, pinpoint the exact thing that's made a big difference. But it's just a bit of everything.
I feel like when we first spoke, it was a bit of like, you were doing very well off the basics, and there was no real accurate tracking on staff members and performance. And even like when it comes to the whole sales process, lead generation, trying to find people help, all of this situation, I feel like none of it was fully 100% maximized, and that's why you can't pinpoint it, is because there wasn't one thing.
Well, to that, if I'd say anything, it probably would be sales. And people see that as like a bad thing. Like, God, you're working on your sales at clients, but by getting clients in, you're helping people. And I had a client who was probably my best performing client at the minute, Colin. It's absolutely smashing it. And he said to me, like, within like a couple of weeks, he went, "You didn't sell this well enough because I was so on edge. You didn't actually sell me well enough. What you're providing to me."
Yeah.
And I don't. It was like over a year ago. And that didn't even make me click that. I should probably get better, because there's probably so many people, as a duty of care, I'm letting them go through my finger because I can't tell them actually how much of a difference it's going to make. So I think that's been a big difference.
I always say, like, if some people look at sales, obviously, of course, sales has been kind of ruined through multiple different industries. But when it comes to fitness sales, the way to become a master at fitness sales is, number one, truly caring about the client's journey, right? If you're not a passionate fitness coach, I don't think you should ever deserve to make money, right? Fair enough. But in the same scenario, you need to be able to understand their situation and understand and have belief in your solution. I think if you have belief in your solution, you fully confidence in yourself, and you portray that well, I feel like you're a great salesman, right? And that already is going to help them feel more confident in making the investment in themselves, which is, arguably the first step. It's the hardest step, is the client actually saying, all right, fine, I'm going to trust this guy. That's the hardest part. It's not actually doing the program, right? So once you just get better at, I suppose, maybe getting that process and helping the client get through that, then that makes you a really good coach, because you've broke their mindset beliefs, Can we go back to 18? And I'm sorry to kind of skip in between stories, but let's go back to 18. When you looked in that mirror, you made the change, right? Or you decided you were going to make the change. What was the process for that? What did you do?
Well, I was actually, because that was like my low point in my life. I was actually quite anxious about even entering the gym. This is why I resonate with a lot of people that don't want to go. They just see the end product right now. But I've done home workouts, just push-ups, using dumbbells in my bedroom for a good month, just to make a promise to myself that I would be committed. And then also just made that transition into training. I think within about, instantly I realized it was a passion for mine, just improving. And then I feel like I got to about probably the 20 mark. I realized I wanted to help other people. I just naturally started training my friends. They started getting good transformations. Then obviously in lockdown, I started posting content, as we all probably did.
Yeah.
And I think that was the turning point. Like, yeah, I fucking love doing this.
Yeah. It's funny because when we kind of, you talked about like people just seeing the end product, right? People see you, they see the vascular arms, they see the tan, they see the abs, they see the
A lot of sunbathing for that.
Huh?
A lot of sunbathing for that time.
yeah, a lot of hard work. And a successful coaching company, and they probably think that you were just given this, when there's a lot of hard work put in behind the scenes. And of course, anybody watching this from a business perspective is obviously trying to look for inspiration as to how you made these months possible. And probably anybody listening just from a non-business perspective is thinking he's lucky, right? I kind of want to go through, the struggles as to what you were struggling with prior to, of course, meeting me, because now, your answers or your questions are answered, right? But when you were alone in this journey, you did tip on a point when you were doing the testimonial video for me when we were speaking before. You had like, you thought you knew best.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
You don't know what you don't know. So you just feel like, okay, I'm getting sales, I'm signing people up, I'm getting transformations. Over time, I'm just going to naturally scale my business. But obviously, I've reflected. I've had 2 years of not really scaling as much as I'd like. And I know I've got a lot of potential. I'm seeing other people around me in your mentorship doing well. And I'm like, I just need to actually put my trust in someone else. And I said to you, you're the first person I've ever invested in. Yeah. I'm a brokey at heart. I'll say, like, I haven't really grown up with much money family-wise. I said that to you on the call. And that's a big motivation for me to build my business, make money, is to help my family. So for me to earn money and give it away, it just didn't seem right. It just didn't seem like the opposite logic to anything I'd ever do.
Yeah, I love that as well, because we said that, how we kind of, I suppose, related on the first call. Yeah. Mum, Dad, I know you're watching this, so I'm grateful for everything you guys do for me, of course, putting a roof over my head. But growing up in a household where money isn't a luxury, and you're taught to save your money, don't be stupid with your money, don't make bad investments. Do you really need that purchase? Like all of these things, it's easy to be kind of like brought up in that mindset. Was there any point in time, or was that the point in time where you kind of switched in terms of investing in yourself? It's like, this is, really smart to do? Or are you still anxious to this day about investing in yourself?
No, I'm happy with it now. Like, as you said then about just growing up younger, like that was just growing up probably in like a rented house. Yeah. Money was always tight. Mm-hmm. And that is probably a motivation for all the sort of hours of work, which you probably do yourself. And that's another thing. People see the end result. They don't see the boy that does this work. Because we're all the same sort of person, really, aren't we? That young kid who's just working and working. Mm-hmm. But in terms of turning point, this has been my turning point. To make my investment back straight away.
Literally.
Like, probably the first couple of weeks.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, that's impressive, to be fair, but it's common, it's not like you're the uncommon one, because there's just so many, I suppose, markers that are just unticked, and as soon as you go into that, it's like it feels like a huge blow up. Some people get overwhelmed by it, which I feel like overwhelmed is a good thing, you know, but it's when you feel like you're not doing enough, that's the issue. And I feel like that's what the point you were at. It's like you're doing the basics and you've mastered the basics. You were doing perfect, and hence why you were able to get to that level of success just by doing the basics, is because you mastered it. When you were doing content, and when I think of your Instagram profile, I straight away think of your brother and stuff like that as well. You do a lot of content with your brother. Can you tell me about the story about how you first started doing content with your brother?
I can't remember the exact reason. I think I just got inspiration off other people's Instagram. Yeah. I thought, just like doing sort of gym videos, I thought, actually, I could just get my little brother in here, because I feel like people like engagement, especially with family members. Family videos always do really well. So I thought I'd chuck him in there, have a bit of humor, because that's something I've always struggled with. Like even now on a podcast, I'll never be able to show my true self talking, because I'm like in robot mode, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I'm just having a back and forth conversation, like camera's just there, people can see that the personality, but they can also see the knowledge side of things.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite important with business. That's what drew me to you anyway. Like on the call, you wouldn't just this and this. Like you just showed a bit of personality. I think that's important because if I want to listen to someone, and like you say jump, I'm saying how high. I mean, so I need to just believe you, and that's what I got straight away from that call.
Absolutely. And I think that's so important as well, is to show your personal. And I have talked to you about this before, where you originally had some issues like showing your true self within content, and that, like anybody watching that, I suppose, could use a bit of information on how to get better at that. It really is reps, you know. And I think you've, in my opinion, improved so much just within the month of filming content, with having a videographer there and stuff like that. It's like have someone to bounce off. Of course, the anxiousness takes years to go away. And I was in your exact same position like 4 years ago, filming content on a tripod. It's not as it's not bad because you can fuck up as many times as you like. But when you're under pressure in a public gym filming content, it's like next level, isn't it?
Oh, I had it the other day. I couldn't say a word. I can't remember.
It was failure.
Yeah, I probably can't say it now. I was literally there like, what the fuck? Why can I
Try
not
to say
speak?
it just for the laugh.
Failure.
Failure.
But I literally was there for ages. Like, God, why can I not speak?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
like, that's on the 8th video at that point. So you forget about people around you. You actually just find it funny. But when you do that first video, you're like, God, you're worrying about everything. Yeah. And I think that gave me confidence actually. When I went to Marbella 3 years ago, staying with other lads filming, seeing them like fuck their words up, like, oh, it's not just me then.
Yeah.
Because I've always struggled with like just my speech anyway. I stutter, I mumble. My granddad used to always tell me off for it. So I thought it was only me that would ruin my words. But it's just so normal.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the filming world, when you're trying to be so perfect,
Yeah.
I think the reason why I'm able to bash through videos, and you said this to me on the elevator up, you were like, everyone was telling me that you bash out videos so quickly and all. I think it's because I don't stick to script.
Yeah.
You know, I don't try be too, robotic.
Yeah.
And this is why I feel like podcasts are so good. It's because it's a back and forth conversation. Oftentimes I forget that camera's here behind me. I forget the camera's there.
I haven't yet.
You know, he's still lining up. But, I feel like this is so important, especially when you said on the first call with me, it didn't feel like a sales call.
Yeah.
And it's because it needs to not be a sales call.
And that's another thing I put my trust in with you, because I said content. I've never liked the thought of doing just like coaching content that a majority of people are doing. But you said to me it works, and that's when I just got to put my trust in you, because the same reason when people hire me as a coach, I tell them to do something because I know it's going to work and it's for their best interest, even if they feel like it's not the right thing. And that's when it's all about trust.
Yeah, they may have tried a calorie deficit before.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're going to get you into a calorie deficit.
I actually looked at the videos I tried to do the other day. Shit. Because I'm not moving positions. I've got a bad hook. So the gym videos I thought I'd done, which are the ones you're telling me to do, they're nothing like it, realistically. So it's like having a calorie deficit, but you're not tracking your biscuits and cup of teas. You might think you're in one, but it's a poor version.
I feel like that's why it's so important to, and I feel like I'm quoting somebody right here, and I don't know who I'm quoting. Apologies if you're watching this, but it's like the maze effect, right? It's like you're inside the maze right now. You're trying to scale your business, right? And at the end, whatever measure of success you want to achieve, whether it's a big financial month or whether it's signing up a certain amount of clients to help them, whatever that milestone may be, it's like there's multiple different options or distractions, if you may, like what to do, how to get there. And it's easy to gain free information on YouTube, Instagram as a starter. But having somebody there, I mean, I've always had a mentor, right? So I'm not just coming from the perspective of like, hire me, everybody. But having somebody there to answer your questions that has, yet again, walk to walk, been there, done that, is just such a breath of fresh air because you get the answer straight away.
No, I agree. And the value is also in what you put in. And that's the accountability aspect. Like, I know you're there. So sometimes I'm like, God, I ain't messaged you for 2 days. He's probably going to message me soon, so I message him before he tells me off.
Don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like, and then I see you put videos in the chat, like voice notes, guys, some of you not messaging me. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I best message him then.
Yeah.
And that's what you need.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm thinking of stuff like, okay, I'm not sure what I need to ask right now, but I'm just going to think of something. And like I haven't spoken to you for 2-3 days. I'm going to send you over a call review. I just done it, and you fucking went right into me. And I was like, that's what I needed, actually.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I just always think what I'm doing is fine, because you get results from it. You think it's fine, but you can always be better, and that's something I feel like people need to realize.
I think sales is the biggest one, right?
Yeah.
It's like, or even appointment setting at the same time. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're capable of closing calls, you're capable of appointment setting, but are you capable of closing at a high level? Are you able to maximize your percentages, increase the deal size, all of these fancy words? But I'm kind of keen to understand, when you say that, you want an all-in approach, you want somebody to almost like, what was the word that you used? You were like, just don't baby me or so. Or
I just go. I don't know. I'll just be brutal. I can't remember.
Yeah,
the
be
exact-
brutal. That was the
Yeah.
word that you said. Why do you feel like you, I suppose, benefit off that form of information rather than being like baby, being like, oh, well done, maybe try this? Why do you like my approach of being brutal?
I think it's when I first started the gym, you see so much crap online. It's like, okay, is this right? Is this right? And then I want to actually figure out how simple things can be. I was like, why does no one just tell me that? And that's why I do it with my coaching. I'm like, this, and this.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that for the minute.
Yeah.
And that's what you're like this, and this. Don't worry about that. I'll do that at a later date. And that's all you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of, yes, we've got the long-term goal, but this is what you need to focus on in the present if you actually want to get to that long-term goal.
Yeah.
So just, I think just being direct is the best way. Because if I'm doing something wrong, I would hate the thought that you're just letting me just like, it's all right. Yeah.
I've been in mentorships where it's like that before, and I know I'm wrong as well. Hence why I'm asking for help. And it's kind of like, no, it's good. Obviously it could be better. It's like instead, like it's just like the approach that I said to you. Like I reviewed your call, and I was like kind of straight. I was like, this is kind of shit.
Yeah,
I was like, you're sounding a bit retarded here. Like how could you make it better? Right. So where did this kind of all switch for you? Where like coaching was the thing that you wanted to do? Because you don't have to name them, but I'm sure you done other business ventures and stuff like that and tried to. Am I right in saying that? I think you said that you tried other business ventures, but when was it that you said online coaching is not only the thing that you want to do, but you think it's going to be for the rest of your life?
So when I started around that sort of 20 mark, I was probably doing it, like obviously working, as mentioned, balancing both. Obviously left my job to do it, and I was in that sort of like low state. But I think I just had a click. A realization. I feel like obviously I'm 25 now, so I feel like sometimes in that sort of like 23 sort of phase, being single, you do get a little bit lost with life.
Yeah.
And I think I probably just did. And I thought, actually, no, that this is what I love. It could have been like a client messaging me just saying, Scott, mate, I appreciate how much you've done. You've literally changed my life. I'm like, this is actually why I fucking started. This is why I do it. People telling you that. And for a client to message me like, Scott, you've literally changed my life. And that client I mentioned, Colin, at the start, he's told me he was suicidal. He said that's why even my call wasn't that good, but it was his last option.
Yeah.
So he just done it.
That's insane.
So like, he joined because he needed to join, not because of my sales call.
Yeah.
And he said I've changed his life.
Yeah.
And hearing people say that, it's like, fucking hell, this is why I work all day. So I don't know if I've really answered the question,
No,
but like,
you
just
did,
it's just a love for the game, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. And this is why I get so frustrated, because I've spoke to many coaches that, and I asked them the question. I mean, I think I asked you that too as well. Like, why are you doing this? And the reason why I asked this question is because that's when I decide whether I want to work with you or not. To me, now I've started another business venture, right? Which is mentorship and helping coaches achieve their best self, right? I know they're the best business. And in this scenario, just like I am with fitness, I'm very much passionate about it. And I'm not going to take an idiot on. And somebody said to me one time, yeah, I heard fitness coaching is definitely a good business to get into because you make a lot of money from it. And I was like, I just fucking asked you why you want to achieve like the next level of business, And he's just saying, I heard fitness coaching is good. So people are getting into it for the wrong reasons nowadays. And hence why the market is, saturated, even though it's not saturated whatsoever. Saturated with idiot coaches. I suppose where I'm going with that is asking, your passion, right? And where that came from when your clients are texting you saying, what a win and stuff like that. Why do you feel like you've achieved more than an idiot coach that's not doing it for passion? Do you feel like that funds the work ethic and that's why you were so successful at this current point?
Yeah. It's just caring. Like, same for you doing this. Like, anyone could try and be a mentor and help other people, but if you don't care, you're not going to help anyone. You may get the odd person a result who can just walk himself through it, but you will never, if you're just starting at 9, clocking off at 5, you're not going to be a good coach at all. Coaching is a 24/7 thing, as you'll know when it comes to mentoring. And you wouldn't be able to help people if you didn't actually care. And that's one thing I can tell with you straight away, like you do care. And if you didn't care, you would be like, okay, I've only known Scott a month and a half. I'm not going to be too brutal. Like, I've only just met the bloke. I don't want to piss him off. But you're like, shit. I was like, I respect that a lot more.
Yeah. Some people don't deal well with that.
No.
Some people get very, I suppose, overwhelmed or whatever by it. But that is the only approach, and that's what a truly passionate person will tell you.
Yeah.
You know, is you need to be, I suppose, harsh, because that's the quickest way you make results. Because I'm not going to tell you something is okay if it's not okay, because you're going to do it again and think that it's okay when it's just a fucking waste of time.
Yeah.
You know. Let's go into, I suppose, what your business is, right? Because everybody knows you're a fitness coach. Do you have any specific niche preference as to who you coach?
The majority of the guys I work with are males who are 30 plus. And the main reason I do this is because I feel like as a younger generation, we know a lot more about fitness, about calorie deficits, how you can obviously be active and so on. But the older generation, they don't actually realize how simple fat loss can be. And I actually appreciate bringing people from the bottom to where they are. I've had this year alone 4 guys start their own business, which may not seem like a lot, but from training their body, leveling up, they've had that like, okay, this is what I've always wanted to do. Now I'm going to do it. I've got the confidence in myself that I can be consistent with things. And then there might be one guy's starting up his own bakery soon. It's just a passion of his. He's like, I actually want to follow my passion now. So it's just so rewarding. Like guys who just feel like that's them done now. They're 30, they're 40, they're 50. This is how their life is always going to be. Yeah. I can't do anything about it. And seeing those guys just change their life, their relationships with partner, their kids, and just having a second go at life. It's just the most rewarding feeling ever.
Yeah, it's insane though, because I feel like fitness does stem every other measure of success. I've always said, you know, if I see a guy, you know, walk into a room and maybe he's overweight, you know, of course you don't judge that. But if he's, let's just say, as a business, I know for a fact he's not performing at the maximum level. I know for a fact his energy levels aren't high. His focus isn't high. And as well, distractions is a big thing as well. But when you, just like your clients have, they've got this first, I suppose, taste of success, right? They set their goal and they achieved it, right? That's like the first fund of motivation. It's like, what else can I set a goal to and I can achieve it again? I think that's truly powerful that you're not just only helping fitness, you're helping everything else.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. And I say that to people on the call, like the training and nutrition is actually a small part. I need to look into your mind. Because I could give you the best training plan, best nutrition plan in the world, but if your head's not in the game, you are not going to follow that. So forget about the training plan, nutrition plan. That's why are you the way you are. Is it trauma? Is it bad habits you have in your life? Is it just like people around you? What is it? We need to find out that root cause first, and then I can help you. Because just chucking a meal plan or give you some advice about calories, you ain't going to listen to it if your head's not in the game. So I think that's really important.
Have you ever been, actually, let me ask the question first and then we can go into that. I feel like so many coaches will feel like they need to do something special, something more than you to make more money or have a bigger impact. When actually, I truly believe, and I've said this many times, I think Paul said it to me the other day. You know Paul, right? And Trip. He said to me, he was like, what do you think I can add extra? Do you think like blood work, XYZ, you know? And I'm just like, no, that's not. If anything, it's going to overcomplicate the process. And then now you're that dickhead that has made fitness complicated when it's not, right? I think you've seen so much success because of how simple you make it. It's like, yeah, nutrition, workout, great. You know, that helps. But it's not the be all and end all if you don't have the right mindset, if you don't have the right structure, even time scheduling when it comes to a busy male that's, you know, works a corp job. It's like there's so many things that play an effect and you need to master the basics. So, and the reason where I'm going with this is because there's some brands, I'm not sure if you've ever been approached by them, but don't say their name just for that reason. Have you ever been approached by these companies that make this process simple for you, that like automated meal programs, automated workout programs? Have you been approached by any of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably since you gained followers, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever been a part of one of them?
No. It's like the tracking calories sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
You probably know what I'm on about.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not sure which one. We'll have a chat after it. But it basically, and a lot of coaches will agree to this, especially if you've got a following, because, you know, they're your target audience, you're their target audience, is they just want to make the process seem so simple and smooth. You don't have to do any of the work. We have to make fitness seem so cool, so upbeat, like an 8-week challenge, you know, something so extra for no reason. And then that's when the clients get, I suppose, a bit traumatized, if anything, you know. I suppose the power of keeping it simple, where I'm going with this, is for number one, coaches watching this, don't ever fall into a trap of going with a company that may take a percentage of your earnings, which is the biggest red flag. Was that one of the, did you get
Well,
that
so
far?
sorry, I was thinking something different, but yeah, I actually did work with a company before at the start.
yeah.
So you probably know who it is.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So I've done that at the start.
Right. And I suppose when you compare your coaching service now,
Yeah.
even though there's probably less involved, maybe,
Yeah.
compared to that other time where you tried to overcomplicate it, like I'm sure AI or something was involved.
Yeah.
You know, would you say that your business is, I suppose, is it serving people better now or before?
Yeah, 100%. I feel, as you mentioned then, if you can keep things as fairly basic, you're going to do well.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of clients have actually prided me, for someone who can't fucking speak very well, but like how well I explain things. Like I will make fitness so simple because it can be that simple. Yes, we can go deeper into depth with things, which I'll do later on down the line. But for your first 3 months, it actually is just get the ball rolling, get some results, and then have a basic understanding about why. Then later on, we can go a little bit in depth about, obviously, slow and fast digestion and carbohydrates, which some coaches will try and teach people from day dot. You need this post-workout, you need some Cocoa Pops post. It's like, mate, just don't overcomplicate it, because people think like you need Cocoa Pops for the rest of your life to stay in shape. It's like, it just stresses me out.
Yeah.
They try and teach people like bodybuilders. When John, who's 50 with 2 kids and a wife, he don't want to be the bodybuilder.
That scares him away, if anything.
Yeah.
And I like your content strategy as well, because I think the use of your brother, obviously, of course, helps you become more of you, it shows your sense of humor well, but it's also how easily you explain it, how basic your content is. Like, I watch it and I understand what you're saying, right? And I'm saying, right, that's basic fucking information. And some people will think that as like a bad thing. They'll be like, he's just giving basic advice. Why is he going viral? That's why.
Says a lot, yeah.
That's fucking why. You're just making it so simple to understand for people. And that's why I suppose anybody that's been following me for some time, and I'm not sure if you watched my OG videos, I think you only knew who I was like a month ago, right?
Yeah, but I know. I've always seen those videos before. Cause I remember
right.
Ollie was using them back in the day.
Yeah,
in
Oi
Mars.
Boy.
Yeah, Oi Boy.
Yeah.
And I remember someone just saying then about calling Ollie out for copying your videos. So I saw those OG ones.
Yeah. That was so fun. I think Ollie texted me as well. He was like, by the way, bro, like, I'm not trying to copy you. I was like, dude, it's fine. Like, my followers are just crazy. Like, they were like defending me at all times. But anyway, which I'm grateful for. Back to that day, I had to try think about it. And I was watching fitness content. Fitness was kind of like, popular at the time because COVID. Nobody had a choice. They had to do online coaching, right? And I had to try to think of something outside of the box that I was going to stand out with. And basically what I done was I went on to comedy skits. I'm not sure if you remember like Darren Conway and stuff like that from Ireland.
I'm real bad for like people on social media, like following people, just knowing of people.
I'm bad with names actually, but if you show me a picture, I'll probably see them. But this guy, he's a comedy guy from Dublin. He's so funny. His name's Darren Conway. I think his name's Darren.
I probably
Conway.
would recognise his face.
You would. You'd see his videos before, but he done these comedy skits, and I remember thinking to myself, they're so fucking funny. And when I seen him just talking straight towards the camera, he looked so awkward. I was thinking, how does he show so much personality? And I actually tried attempting to do that in fitness, and I like switched kind of like the comedy skit and inputted it into mine. Video quality was fucking terrible, but people loved my sense of humor matched in with good fitness advice, but good basic fitness advice. And that's where I really started to blow up, because I think when you have something unique about you, which I feel like you do, but your followers are still yet to see the max of it, which they will. And that's when you'll get to 2, 3, 400, 500k followers. That is in due time. Some people will be watching this 12 months later and you'll probably be already on that.
Yeah, it's definitely a goal of mine to grow my socials, because they have just like hit a bit of a stall. And like it's just like a bit of an up and down at the minute, from depending on how well the recent video does. So that definitely is a big priority.
I think that's going to be the next step that we really work on as well. But yeah, that's my point, is like having a bit of uniqueness to it as well, but also just, not losing your morals. Don't go into telling people to do keto if you don't truly feel like that will be the one to work well with them. I'm curious, right? When you grew up in, just like me, family with not really much money, how do you feel like that affects you to this day, now that you're making a lot of money? Like you actually said something just before we started recording. You made your year's salary.
Yeah, so my old job, which I was done a 4-year apprenticeship with, obviously I've completed it. Didn't want to finish it, but I made sure I completed it. But yeah, I've done my whole yearly salary in 1 month, which is mad to think. But even now, people say, "Oh, that's fucking amazing," but like, nah, I need to keep this up. Like, it's hard. You can't get too overwhelmed with it,
Yeah, yeah.
in my opinion.
It's easy to, and I think that's just due to the location you're in. Maybe.
Yeah.
I
no,
think
but
even your friend.
If I was back home, I'd be a right wanker probably.
Yeah, you'd be popping bottles probably. I don't know. But it's easy to get complacent, and that's what every fitness coach does.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you've seen, but as soon as people hit that 10K mark,
Yeah.
it's like feet up on the table. It's like just fucking chill.
Yeah.
We're ballers.
It's the buzz
now.
number, innit? What they
Yeah,
call it.
it's 10K a month, you know,
Yeah.
and that's why on the call, I never let people away with that.
Yeah.
When I'm having a consultation call with a coach and they say the word 10K a month, I'm
Yeah.
like, why?
Yeah.
Like, because it's easy to say 100K a month, 50K a month.
Mm.
But if you don't know the true reason why as to why you want to achieve that number,
Mm.
if that's the measure your financial goal, what does that allow you to do?
Yeah.
How is your life going to be different? And is that life going to serve you well to keep achieving more?
Yeah.
You hitting £27,500, right?
Yeah.
As your PB month, which is an incredible amount of money to earn in one single month, especially somebody coming from your background. How do you feel like, I suppose, that served you in terms of achieving that? Is there any type of big wins that you've, I suppose, done? Like, have you saved for the first time? Like, what did you do with that money? I suppose that are you proud of anything, or were you struggling?
Yeah, it's very recent. So obviously it was only last month. So
Yeah,
obviously it's allowed me to save, but it's also like it's more allowed me to realise my potential more than anything. And I don't just a couple of years ago when I did get some good money or like started doing better, that was the period where I would waste my money on going out and drinking. But now it's like actually I'm in such a fortunate position. I'm not just helping my clients, but I can help my family. And I know if I had my mum, my auntie, a close friend say, Scott, I need fucking this. There you go.
Yeah, don't worry.
And like, I think having that sort of opportunity to be able to do that is amazing. Because I mean, growing up, when I was probably like 12, I asked mum for £1. She went, I can't give you £1.
Yeah.
And like, it's mental to even think that now,
Mm-hmm.
because how tight money would be when you're younger.
Yeah.
So to be able to help family, it's just, I think it's quite fortunate.
Would your mum be watching this?
Yeah,
Maybe?
she'd be watching. She watches it all day.
What does your mum think of this right now, of the whole idea of coaching? And I'm sure, just like any parent, probably a bit scared when you decided to part ways with your 4-year apprenticeship. Maybe. I'm
No,
not
she
sure.
was all for it. She's quite big into like social media. She's quite
Ah.
like just like go for it. It's more my dad, because my dad was like, you can't, it's a job for life. Don't be giving that up. Doesn't have Facebook, let alone anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So he was on edge. But then I never like to talk to my family about how much I earn, but my brother would just tell him or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think makes him understand it a little bit more. I feel like he still doesn't understand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my mum just wants me to buy an Audi TT. She's got to fucking wait a little bit longer, mum.
Is that one of your goals?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I'd rather want to get in a good house first.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's the goal for this year anyway.
Nice, really good. And then I was going to actually ask you that as well. Obviously, we'll tip on other things, but in terms of your goal for the next 12 months, I feel like it's a valid reason to, or I suppose time to ask this question now. What is your goal for the next 12 months? Because I know when we spoke, what your goal was. Your goal's pretty much already achieved.
Yeah.
But what's your next goal?
Yeah. In terms of like
Everything.
yeah, I do want to put myself. My mum's still in the same house, the sort of rented house that we grew up in. So that's a goal this year to, even on paying our rent, to live somewhere else, wherever it is. That's a goal of mine.
Yeah.
Because I've got a little brother and sister as well. So they're growing up in that house, and that house just gives me fucking trauma. So I want to get them out of there.
Yeah.
And then I think financially wise, obviously just keep on scaling. I'd like to take another coach on for my business. That's definitely a goal of mine. I think just keep on scaling in general, but making sure that whoever's coming along with me in this journey, they're like me. You know what I mean? They've got the same ambition, they've got the same charisma potentially. Because a client said that to me, he's like, make sure you do find someone, because he said, you can tell I'm going to get a coach at some point.
Yeah.
Make sure he's like you, because you're very relatable. And I do take pride, I'm probably going off on a tangent a little bit, but I feel like I can relate to a 21-year-old who goes out every weekend, or a 50-year-old bloke. Doesn't matter who it is, I can have the same strong conversation. I feel that's an underrated skill. You can probably do the same.
Yeah,
and that's
communication's
people
a big
who
thing.
are doing well in business, even coaching. You need to have the skill to be able to speak to people, because if you can't speak to people in like different mannerism, like if I'm getting on a call with a 50-year-old CEO, I'm not going to be speaking how I would speak to you.
Yeah, demand them.
yeah, or just like slang. Like you speak in a slower, more composed sort of tone.
Yeah.
But someone who's a bit younger, you're like, get on, boy. Like, you know what I mean? Just show that this is the right. It's just you got to match the person.
You're right. It is a big skill, and also as well passion as well. It's going to be a big thing, and that's why Jake. If you're watching this, big shout out to Jake, my head coach. Like he's He's exactly like me. Weirdly, kind of, my clients always say to me, kind of looks like me as well.
Yeah.
But he's very, very passionate about it, and you can tell like every single message that he sends, he didn't rush it.
Yeah,
Do you know,
yeah,
like that type of way? I hate the people, and like you could probably sense it too. If you ask me a question about business and I send you a voice now and it sounds like I'm driving or I'm
Yeah.
rushing it, it's like it just feels like you're not priority,
Yeah.
right?
Sorry to interrupt. I do a check-in sometimes. I'll say to the guys like 4 p.m. I'll do your check-in tomorrow. It's still within 24 hours, but I'll do it tomorrow because I could do a check-in right now, be half-hearted,
Yeah.
poor energy.
You're tired.
I need to do it first thing in the morning, 5 coffees, bit of ADHD kicking around, and
Yeah.
just like passion.
Absolutely.
People always say, mate, that's just what I needed. And that's what you need first thing on a Monday morning or Tuesday morning. You don't want a little bad day at work and you get Scott sending you a check-in like, yeah, all good, mate. Like,
Yeah, when it comes to your check-ins, actually, I was gonna actually ask you that. I'm a big believer that your check-in doesn't need to be long. It doesn't need to be overcomplicated. All my check-ins for my clients, same with Jake, is 2 to 4 minutes long,
Yeah.
right? Maximum 4
Yeah.
minutes. Otherwise, you're fucking waffling,
Yeah.
right? But I also see
I do waffle a
coaches-
little bit. So
Do you do waffle?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's one thing that will stop you from doing. But I see some coaches doing like 15, 20 minute
Yeah.
check-ins.
No, I
and
never
I'm
do
like,
that. They probably
whoa.
do average from the average check will be about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
But
not too bad.
the odd bloke will catch me on like a 5 coffees in 9 minutes, just like pumping him
Chatting
up.
about the football.
No, just honestly, I just go on like spirals motivation sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably
yeah.
just been scrolling TikTok half hour before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, you feel like you have to put some work in.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. I'm very see. We've talked about your goals over the next 12 months. You know, in this current position that you're in right now, having just achieved a really, really good month, of course, having my support. You know, in terms of your belief level that this is going to be achieved in 12 months. The first time I spoke to you, I'm not sure why, but you seemed almost hesitant as if you could achieve that
Yeah.
goal. You were speaking a lot about like if instead of when.
Yeah.
Do you know, what position are you in right now? Do you feel like everything that you want in life now will be achieved given that the mindset you're in and stuff?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll take it back to, I'll say I spoke to you probably about a week after moving to Dubai.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I've paid a lot of money for rent in this apartment. Realistically, it's more than I should be paying. Like this needs to work.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously working with yourself, you've given me trust that this life that I want, not just for myself but my family, I can do it.
Yeah.
And now I've got all my trust in you.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
whatever I want to do, I know that I'm on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
So for the next 12 months, I just feel reassured on where I'm going.
Yeah.
When easily I could just have a good month, fall off track, but obviously not going to allow that. I'm not going to allow that for
Not
myself
fucking
anyway.
Yeah, I'll hit you knuckle touch right here for the side camera. But no, that's good, bro. I'm super proud of you. And I want to, because obviously we've still got time here and I'm enjoying this chat. Bottlenecks that other coaches sometimes go through. Of course, we can talk about content. We can talk about maybe lead generation, whatever it may be. What do you feel like was the biggest thing that you didn't maybe take advantage of before working with myself?
I'll answer a little bit differently first.
Yeah.
I'm going to think about coaches that are kind of maybe in my sort of area kind of know of. I feel like the biggest thing people have is that limiting belief. I've even seen it on Facebook before that coaches post someone earning X amount, and so people reply impossible. That's only impossible because you're not around people who want the same goal. So if you're in this membership, seeing this month, you do show people transformations. You're like, oh, it's achievable. This is actually real life.
Mm-hmm.
But you might be a coach who's just started, and you think it's impossible. How can I earn that sort of money? I don't know anyone who's doing that.
Yeah.
Like we're probably just making this stuff up. It's not these. We're real people who were in the same position as you. It was just a dream before, and we've achieved it, and we only want more now.
It's funny because like you're only 25 years old, right? But you're earning the same amount of money, and yet again, it's not all about money. And I never want this podcast to ever be about completely focused about money, but of course it is, especially for someone like in you and I's position, how much impact we can have on our family. Like even just last year or 2 years ago, even like buying my dad his dream car, being able to retire my mum and dad, all of these things are like so wholesome for me. Like obviously I have a cool car, but like that's nowhere near my dream car. But that doesn't come first. It's like family, the impact that we can have. And with that, I suppose you being able to achieve next financial goals has been allowed you to just be a better person, right? And I know you've always probably had that deep down. Like you talked about wanting to be a footballer and stuff.
Yeah.
Always
Don't we all?
goals. Yeah, well, I suppose me too.
I wasn't eating that good either.
I was kind of washed.
I wouldn't pass them anyone. It's fucking shit.
Yeah, I was kind of washed. I can't lie. What position did you play?
Right wing.
Right wing. I actually played right wing too, but when I got on the field.
Yeah,
I was on the bench.
I was Aaron Lennon sort of. I was Tottenham fan. First trophy yesterday.
Nice. Oh yeah, they
Yeah,
won
United fan,
Yeah,
I saw you voted on the poll.
No, I was United
Yeah.
until yesterday. Nah, jokes. And I don't really watch football anymore.
No,
But
I don't either. It's just, I think that's the thing as you get older, you actually do kind of, it's actually a good thing to distance yourself from football.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so time zapping and just, it's not a good thing to be obsessed with. And that actually annoys me with people who don't want to invest in a, sorry, fucking tangent here, but they don't want to invest in a coach, but
Yeah.
they spend all their money, travel up and down the country, watch some 11 men run around a fucking, or 22 men run around a football pitch that
Yeah.
don't know who they are, don't care about them, earning a shitload of money, and you're just obsessing over someone else when you obsess over yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously, do what you want with your own money, but I find it crazy.
that's just priorities, though, isn't
Yeah.
it? You know, they're just yet to see how much we could help. And this is even the same.
It's probably the same with your mentoring. Like, there's people who
Exact same.
waste a lot of money in designer clothes, nights out, holidays,
Literally.
and if I feel like a holiday is irrelevant. I couldn't even enjoy a holiday now if I wasn't happy with where I am.
Literally, and I've always said that as well. Everybody, it's so funny, you know, when crossing that bridge to being a coach, then to being a mentor, is a scary one, you know, because people instantly start judging you for the things that you have, right? They'd be like, why don't you have a Richard Mille watch? Why don't you have a Ferrari? Why aren't you traveling every weekend? And that may be some people's, you know, reason as to why they get success, you know, but you need to detach yourself from that as much as possible. And I think that's a bad habit a lot of people get themselves into. I don't think you and I maybe, because of course the background that we grew up in, but if you grew up in a household where you often get things that you want, which is not a bad thing, you know, that it's still, you'll have great, I suppose, morals still, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But you've bad spending habits probably. As soon as you get it, you spend it. And that's where a load of people go wrong, I see, is that instead of investing into a mentor, it'll be next month. This month I want to watch. Or this month I want to act like a baller. I want to get a car on finance. That's the biggest one I've seen recently is cars on finance. If you cannot afford to have the car, if you can't afford to pay it off, you shouldn't have the car, in my opinion.
No, neither.
But I went off on
That's
as you
all
said, a bit of a tangent as well.
Yeah, I need to answer your question still, don't I? You might have to re-ask me about the bottleneck of coaches.
Yeah.
We're jumping straight over it.
Fuck it, go on. About bottleneck of coaches.
You might have to re-ask me what exactly.
So in terms of, I suppose, people, let's just say strictly in your position, because you know you cross that boundary of 0 to you know 9, 10K by yourself. From that point, the bottleneck that you were in, if you had another coach listening to this, you know, what bottlenecks do you feel like they'll be able to relate to? What is something that you didn't necessarily touch on as much until you met me? You're like, shit, I didn't realize that was even a priority. Does that make sense?
I think for myself personally, a lot of it was that anxious feeling of not knowing what I can do, what's the next step.
Yeah.
So that's a big one because everyone's gonna have that in the back of their head, like, God, what's the next step? What am I doing this right? Is that working? I think just knowing that, okay, you can look at everything I'm doing, change that. That's just for myself straight away gives me reassurance.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pinpoint what exactly. What would you kind of think is a common one for a lot of guys?
Thanks for asking. I mean, I gotta get some talking to but one thing that a load of people around that 9, 10K month thing don't prioritize is like, yeah, they make content from time to time. They do X, Y, Z, but they don't ever do the advanced stuff. And what are some examples of the advanced stuff is lead generation, right? Like DM setting.
Yeah.
They'll send out a couple of voice notes a day. They'll try to be very, very sleazy. They'll try offer people straight away, you know, these type of things. And I think you've noticed it big with like the guidelines that I give you, the DM guidelines of don't offer calls too quick.
No.
You know, you want to actually show that you care. You don't want to pretend that you care. You want to actually show that you care. And that's when we were even speaking on the journey here. You know, your setter that was booking in the calls was like just completely disregarding everything that people were saying and just going, yeah, perfect. How does a call sound?
You're speaking to real human beings.
Literally,
You can't like just overlook what they're saying if you want to get one a call. Like, you need to actually, yes, with DM setting, it's a purpose to help someone.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up like, hey, get a DM setter just to make more money. You're forgetting the whole point of it.
And that's,
I think, sorry, what I was going to say actually that kind of come to my mind then is that seeing this as a bottleneck people probably don't see it. Well, a bottleneck that lets people down is not seeing this as a business. Like,
absolutely.
Now I'll have calls with my setters.
I was literally just about to say that.
Yeah. Like before, it's like I didn't speak to them at all. Just here's your job.
You didn't even know their first name.
Didn't know their first name. Just didn't even review anything, and it's just laziness.
Yeah.
and not seeing you as the only person that's going to build your company, when realistically your setters, everyone else in your business is actually probably more important than you.
Absolutely. I always say this, and this is something I say to Sean every single day. Remember, when hiring, your setter is the front man of your business. This person you need to have full trust in. You need to spend all your time with them, because if there's no appointments being booked, you can't help people. You can't coach people. You can't give these motivational speeches that you like to do, and you can't create that impact without fucking generating them, first of all.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's why I get so frustrated when I either see, there's nothing wrong doing DM setting yourself, but then if you're doing DM setting yourself, then you can't do the calls. Then you can't put the effort in to your clients. So there's just so much things that are left, I suppose, unmaximized. So I see the biggest bottleneck is when growing a business, they neglect the most important things: setter management and training. And that's something that you have, I suppose, really put a load of time into, especially in the month of your PB month.
Yeah.
And the calls booked were like, great.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what a lot of people just do neglect. And sales as well. You can be as passionate as you want, but if you don't have the correct guideline structure in terms of making sure that, you're touching on the points that they've just said, you're allowing them to experience the pain that they're going through. And a lot of people think of pain points as a sales tactic. It's not really. Of course, you can use it as a sales tactic, but it's to help them understand why they're even doing this. Sally will come through the door and she'll say, I want to lose 5 kilos to sit on the beach, but why? That's the real reason. You need to understand why Sally wants to do that. Is it to achieve a better body? Yes. But is it to look better in photos? I've spoke to so many men that didn't want to get in photos with their kids. So they've nothing to show. Like 15 years time when their kids grow up, they've no photos with their kids like on holiday. So,
and that's the thing, coaches or people who are just starting off, who are wanting to do better, actually just care about the potential lead.
Yeah.
Like I said, if they say a number, what is 5 kilograms? Why do you want that?
Yeah.
Because anyone could chuck any number out there. They've been saying that for the last 10 years probably. I want to lose 2 stone. But why do you want to lose 2 stone? Because if you can get them to tell you the why, they're going to be more likely to jump on that call and then actually want to make the change. Because they think it's just to lose weight to become fitter and healthier. Everyone says that. What's that? Why do you want to become fitter and healthier? What does that even mean to you?
How is not being fit and healthy right now affecting you? How is it affecting you?
You just got to you've got to reframe everything they tell you. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Or rephrase it. Reframe.
Reframe, yeah. That's a good word of explaining it. But that's where everybody goes wrong. It's like on the call, it's like, okay, so we do meal programs, workout programs. It's £150 a month. Let me know. Is it Apple Pay or?
That's the thing you've actually made me realize that I couldn't get my head around it. That's literally a tiny part of the call.
Yeah.
Like I used to dedicate my whole call to people of the
features.
product. Yeah, the features. This is what I offer. Yeah. Fancy this, fancy that. When they've not even told you the why behind it. They tell me they want to lose weight, maybe they want to get fit and healthy, but I've not dug into this. And that's what it comes down to the mindset side of things. If you find out their reason behind this, what they struggle with, because some people say, Scott, I can't go to the gym. But people are like, yeah, it's all right, mate, we'll get you in there. No worries, mate. First 2 weeks, let's just focus on your nutrition. You've got like 40 kilos to lose.
Yeah.
So cool, let's not worry about that gym for the minute. Let's just get you up and running, focusing on your nutrition. And once they lose that sort of first maybe stone, for example, they got confidence. They then want to enter the gym. So it's all different phases.
Yeah. And I think that's why people have such a hard time closing and getting a maximum amount of numbers of clients through the door that they can help, is because they don't understand the reason why. And the prospect, the potential lead, the potential client, whatever you'd like to call it, they don't feel heard, right? You have to remember, this first time you've spoke to them, or like this client or whatever it may be, they've probably spoke to multiple other coaches. It may have been on the gym floor. It may have been on their social media. Like if you go through any of your clients following, they're probably following me, Ollie. They're probably following everybody, right? Because
I love it when they're not.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I love when I see bad fitness creators not on their following, right? Because obviously we just give good tips. But in regards to them not closing the deal, right? They're always putting the blame on them. Oh yeah, it's because they didn't have the money for the program. Probably not. No. It's probably they didn't want you to have their money because you're a sleazy sales bastard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So it's about finding the middle ground of how to push somebody towards the logical decision. And also as well, if you don't know the reason why, you can't be the best coach. So
Can I ask you a quick question?
go for it.
What advice would you give to someone then who's hit a bit of a plateau financially? Maybe stuck between the 5K, maybe 10K mark. It's been for a year, maybe even 2 years, even longer. What would you say to them they need to do as a next step?
It all starts with lead generation. You know, when it comes to content, if maybe your views have plateaued, right? In this scenario, like let's just imagine that you were in similar to your situation, but just less money, right? Most of the time, the content that they're creating has been outdated, right? They're probably getting bored of the content. They're rewriting the same videos, and the viewers can sense that. The viewers can sense the boredom, the nervousness behind the videos. So if you have a bad lead generation problem and you're not booking no calls, right? Because that's one plateau. There has to be at least one plateau behind it. You need to either go down the lines of creating really fucking top quality organic content consistently. And I'm talking posting every day. And this is the same thing I said to you when we were talking about content the other day is you need to do it. There's no fucking way around it. You're doing it. Do you know what I mean? And you need to do it daily. If you're not willing to do that, you're going to need to go into ads. You know, and ads is something that's hard to commit to because it involves an upfront financial investment.
So I don't like doing.
Organic's free,
Yeah.
you know? And I feel like not a lot of people, you, I, all of these, they all maximize their organic potential. Other people don't,
Yeah.
right?
I don't think I've ever spent a penny on ads.
But that's the thing. My business wasn't spent on ads.
Yeah.
Sorry, but and neither has pretty much all of my mentor clients because I say the same thing to them. If you had to pick right now, right, and I put it this way to make them understand. If you had to pick right now, would you rather spend £100 a day on ads and probably not see a return, or would you rather spend £0 a day and just pull the finger out of your fucking arsehole? And they're like, oh,
What worse? Get a videographer to film and edit your videos.
worst case scenario, like, you know, and even at that can be looked at as a scalable measure,
Yeah.
you know, because you've delegated. By the way, anybody editing and filming their own content,
Yeah,
please,
you got me-
if you've got a
you
bit of
got me-
fucking money behind you.
You got me to do it straight away. Then you stop doing that.
Yeah, I was like, please, like because you're wasting so much time,
Yeah.
you know, and energy.
Yeah.
Like you're
That's
sitting there.
it's not even just the time; it is the energy. Because I can edit a video quite fast,
Yeah.
but filmed, no tripod messing around, no checking the angle. It's all recorded for you. Chuck it, forget about it. Oh, you got 10 videos just sent over to you. Awesome.
Yeah.
Right caption is done, and it actually is just the mental stress of not having to worry.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes like, I got a bit of free time. Oh shit, I don't even need to make content because that's
Yeah.
what I'd always do. If I had free time, I would have to edit a video, and how boring is that?
Fuck. It's so bad. And especially listening to your own voice. You're somebody who doesn't
Yeah.
like filming. Imagine
Yeah.
listening to your own voice over and over again. It makes you hate the process even more. So that's the first phase, you know, because most people will be stuck at that phase is lead generation. Because of course, if I gave you 100 leads a day, I'm sure you'll make money,
Yeah.
right? But I also see some people. So once you determined which one you're going to do, after a month, you should see it pick up. Then it's sales. And everybody is like, why can't I close the deals? And we've touched on this. I'm not going to go rambling about it, but you need sales
Yeah, you
training.
could be the best coach in the world, but if you don't know how to sell what your service, what you can offer, how you can help it, you're not going to do well. You're not going to help these people. And that's why some really good coaches out there, they know everything, done all the degrees.
Yeah.
They get pissed off at seeing other people do well. Cause like, oh, I probably know more than them, which you might do. But if you don't know how to grow your business, you're not going to. And that's when they need help from people like yourself.
Yeah.
Like, yes, just drop your ego. Yes, you're a very smart coach. You know it all.
Yeah.
But go to someone who knows how to scale not just the coaching business, but the social media, everything else that comes with it.
And so many people focus on that. It's like, I need to get better at coaching. Yeah,
Yeah.
great. Be a good coach. But I feel like since the coaching journey is so basic, you know, you don't need to go down the lines of having a bodybuilding, like I've been doing all these bodybuilding courses if you're not coaching bodybuilders.
Yeah.
You don't need to know how to do a water fast if you're not going to be coaching men that do water
Yeah,
fasts, do you know?
It's like some guys try to do a competition to
Yeah.
can make him look a good coach. Like, mate,
Guilty.
It probably puts people off though.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. I mean,
It crossed
I
my
done
mind
that.
before when I was like 22. I thought I might do a competition. It's going to make me look like I can hold myself to these high standards. But if anything, I'll get guys say, "Oh, I like seeing pictures of you holding a pint." Like
Literally,
I always
yeah,
get people
yeah.
insult me so bad. Like, "Oh yeah, you're big, but not that big." I'm like, "Cheers, mate."
Appreciate it. I'm not trying.
I'm maintaining.
I'm not trying, trust me. Yeah, no, that's the funny part about it is because people think I'll do this bodybuilding degree, I'll be able to make more in detail content, and that's just pushing the actual paying customers away.
Yeah.
Bodybuilders are, I mean, you can coach bodybuilders. I know plenty of people that are bodybuilder coaches that make great money, but having to deal with their prep brain and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's not me. But that's the thing. You need to know how to own a business and be a good coach. Being a good coach will help fund that business with passion. You know, that's what funds the 12-hour days. What does your before we're getting close to wrapping it up? But what does your daily routine look like now that you're in Dubai? I know you're leaving back to the UK tomorrow and then go to Marbella. Life already, huh? It's
Yeah,
a
I
good
know,
one.
it's not bad. Something
te-
I would have dreamed of years ago. It's
Literally,
crazy.
well, you're living it now. But one thing is, don't get distracted.
No.
You know, and I obviously you won't let yourself. I
No,
know you
no.
won't, but I won't let you either.
No.
What does your daily routine look like? You know, 25-year-old in Dubai, 27K months, living the dream. But you know that may look really good to somebody from the outside. But what does your day look like? What is that commitment level?
It is non-stop.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm willing to do right now. I'm willing to invest all my time to keep scaling my business. So it will be literally from waking up at probably 7:30, spending the whole morning just doing my check-ins up until afternoon. So go to the gym, get back, and then this is when people will get comfortable. This is when I stopped. This is when you get home, maybe I'll edit a video, perfect, done for the night. But this is when now, okay, what can I need to review my VAs, potentially look to hire new people, and then so look at your school community.
Yeah.
There's always so much I can be learning. So now I've like deleted Twitter. As soon as I got to deleted Twitter, I don't watch any sort of like sport things on YouTube. If I'm just eating a bit of food or whatever, just got to fucking listen to you all the time. Yeah, man, all the time.
And so, you know, that's why Scott will be able to scale so much faster than you guys, is because he's not got complacent with his income. And it's not his sole focus. He has more to achieve, therefore he can't get lazy. And that's why Scott's going to be able to scale so much faster, 2, 3, 4 times faster. He's willing to invest in himself. He's willing to give up time as, you know, a byproduct of course, achieving things faster. I always like to look at this. I'll enjoy my life when I'm 30, when I'm retired.
Yeah.
Do you know? And I'm sure you have the same output as that, considering
It
you're
might be
working so
4
hard.
the way I'm going at the minute.
Yeah. In regards to, I suppose, what it looked like for you, all right, and we'll wrap it
Yeah, I
up.
probably
with
I
this.
didn't answer your question too well about how my day-to-day looks.
Yeah,
I don't know what sort of like.
Go ahead if you feel like you can add some more to it.
No, I don't know what you was kind of wanting me to kind of.
Oh no,
get
that's
to.
good.
Yeah.
End of the moral of the story is you're working 24/7.
Yeah. Well, and the next point is some people, I was guilty of it before. If I don't have a call booked in, I'm like, oh, I've got a 3 day off. But you telling
So
me like
true.
how well you're doing, still like, well, why just jump on DMs for an hour, 2 hours a day? I'm like,
So true.
fucking hell, like, I don't know, something so basic I just didn't do.
There's no such thing as you're not busy.
Yeah, yeah. There's always something to do. Yeah.
I fucking hate that. And it's the first thing I say is like, what could you be doing right now?
Yeah.
So if you don't have calls booked in and
Find
you just fucking find
Yeah.
them. Do you know, you like, there's something wrong. That's an alarm.
Yeah.
Do you know, oh shit, I don't fucking have calls today. Chill. No, I don't have calls today.
And
That's a bad
people
thing.
watching this maybe be thinking, okay, like, oh, you've got how much? You got like 600k, 300k on Instagram.
Followers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's like 700k.
So I've got like 80, 90, and people I think, oh, it's easy for you, get leads and you've got loads of followers. But some of the best coaches have got like 10k followers making.
Look at Luke.
Uh,
Luke in the mentorship.
Yeah, yeah.
He's fucking doing amazing. He's got nowhere near 10k followers.
exactly. So some people have got 2, 3, and if anything, that's actually your power sometimes. Because they think people like us, it's not us messaging.
It's AI.
You with 2, 3k, they know it's going to be you popping in for a message. They're happy to have a bit of a back and forth conversation. So don't make excuses that you've got the ability to scale no matter what position you're in.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew that at the start, because there's probably so many leads that just unfollowed me now that I just fucking didn't speak to.
Literally.
And
yeah.
you want to speak to these people like you would be on a gym floor, just conversation. Don't go in like, oh,
All right, mate.
do you want to lose some fat, mate? It's like, fuck off, mate.
Yeah.
What fat am I?
yeah,
But
literally.
you just have some general conversation. And I
Build
think-
trust.
Yeah, build trust.
We'll end it off on this question, right? For anybody watching this podcast that may be on the fence, probably about, you know, joining up to the Trojan Scaling Circle, you know, what did it look like for you? You invested, of course, literally on the call straight away. There was no hesitation. You were just like, fuck, I need to do it, because you felt like it was right, which I admire. Tell me, what did it look like for you? Was it like a day where you were like, oh, I probably shouldn't have made that? After like for the first day, and then the second day it was like, oh wow, like what did that look like for you? Or was it straight off the bat were you impressed?
Yeah, so obviously that instant, obviously on the call, I preach people to, you got to just do it in a moment anyway. So if I jump off, have a little think about it, all you're going to think about is the investment cost. And it's important to see it as an investment.
Yeah.
People think it's it's costing you something. No, it's not. You're investing into your business. And it's not nice to pay up a sum of money.
Absolutely not.
But as I kind of said to you, not having really much money to give away that money, I'm going to make sure I'm working even harder. So I just knew like, all right, this is go time.
Yeah.
And obviously you got to be set up. Obviously immediately message responses, you bang on it.
Yeah.
Got all the resources. So I'm just learning straight from dot.
Yeah.
And I'm just locked in, ready to go. So for me, it's like I didn't even think twice.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you want to scale enough if you don't want to invest. And I didn't want to scale enough because that's why I stayed the same for so many years.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't willing to actually take that next step. And if you want to take that next step, you actually want to grow, you got to invest in someone and get help from someone. And it's not until you do it and you realize, actually, this shit isn't a scam.
Yeah.
I knew you wasn't going to be a scam anyway, but everyone has that mindset because I've seen loads of mentors before, like, messaging me all the time. I'm like, mate, fuck off. Like, you're definitely a scam.
Yeah.
Because you don't know any better. How is that mate? He's definitely not made 50K in a month. He's definitely not made 100K. That's not real.
Yeah.
Because I'm on 2-3K and I'm perfect.
Yeah. Look at me.
I don't know what I've tangents a little bit, but just take that step. Like, if you want to change, you just got to go for it.
Where can people find you if they wanted to give you a follow and keep up today?
On Instagram, Scott Waterfall, WATRFALL. Just sometimes people actual waterfall.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having you on. You know, it was a really good chat, and I look forward to working with you. I mean, we're still working together for another 11 months. So God knows where we can take you, and hopefully we'll do another podcast together.
Yeah, it'd be good to look back on a year on this podcast.
It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge, and hi, Scott's mum and dad as well if they're watching.
Yeah. But Dad don't even know what YouTube is, I don't think.
Okay, great. So everybody watching, if you do want to scale, you fitness coaches, of course, and you don't know exactly where to go, I'll leave a link below where you can book a simple call with me, and we can have a chat about your business. But other than that, thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you.
Subscribe to the channel and like the video if you did find it at all helpful, and we'll see you all in the next one.